What the hell is going on, people? This is Periodic, and you see the title of the video. We're jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle. We're jumping back into the 350 million global downloads reached celebration campaign part 1. I hope I got everything right. I think I did. Pretty sure I didn't miss anything. Anyway, we're going to be covering the Red Dragon Stone, the God Dragon Stone, number 13. And we're going to be telling you whether you're new or let's just say you've been playing for a while, but you're just kind of like, I want a second opinion. Who should be the, who's the best character that I can get? Well, stick around. I'm about to tell you.
Hear my thought. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watch the cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my hunger.
So, welcome to the Stone Shop. And as you can see, we have a lot of iterations of the God Dragon Stone. This just so happens to be the final one, or not the final, but the latest one, I should say. So number 13, God Dragon Stone. And there are a ton of characters that you can get with this God Dragon Stone. Obviously, some a lot better than others, because I'm going to keep it a buck. Some of these characters kind of suck. But it's not a big deal. So let me just kind of scroll through here and see if we're missing anybody. Yes, we actually are. So for whatever reason, they decided to add 2 more characters onto this list. But what's weird is usually they'll add newer characters, like fairly new characters, and they didn't. They decided to add, I don't want to say old characters, but they've been around for a little bit. So they've added this Kaioken Goku, who's been out since January of 2019. So that's a decent amount of time, 2.5 years ago. And then this physical Vegeta, who got added in the same time, right? January of 2019. This is Japan we're talking about here. So 2.5 years. Now, they did receive their Extreme Z Awakening this year, at the beginning of the year in January. And they're not bad. They're actually pretty solid, specifically against their type advantage. So not type advantage, but their category advantage. So for example, Vegeta is good against Goku's family, and then Goku is good against Vegeta's family. Now, are they worth picking up? Potentially, if you don't have them. If you don't have them, then yeah, why not? They're brand new. They're pretty good, right? You have 1 key at the start of each turn and 70% defense when there's a Vegeta's family. Attack and defense, and that's an enemy. You got to be facing off against Vegeta's family. Attack and defense 100% when performing a super attack. 7 key and 70% defense or attack when HP is 70% or less. Chance of performing a crit 7% per key sphere obtained, and that caps at 30%. But the main important thing is that they greatly stack attack and they stack defense on their super. And then Vegeta does the same exact thing. Greatly stacks attack and just normally raises defense. So this is a 50% increase and a 30% increase for the defense. And then he's pretty much the same thing, right? 1 key, 70% attack when you're facing Goku's family, 100% attack and defense when supering, 7 keys, 70% defense when HP is 70% or less, and then the same crit mechanics. So in terms of units that are good against Goku's family and Vegeta's family respectively, they're decent, but I would say that the Vegeta is indeed better. Why? Well, there's just way more Goku's family units out there. Way more Goku's family units. So he's going to have that advantage of being able to activate that first part of the passive way more often. So this guy's numbers can get nutty in longer events, but again, it's very niche. You have to be facing Goku's family. You have to be fighting in a longer event, and then he'll really shine. So again, if you don't have them, then they're a good pickup. If you do have them, then, I mean, do you really need the dupes? Are you really going to be using them all that often? Probably not. So let's go over who are actually some of the most useful units that you can use on this list here with the Red God Dragon Stone 13. And the first one that just jumps out at me, and this isn't necessarily a tier list, this is ones that I think have a very, very good, are very useful. Let's just put it like that they're very, very useful. Number 1 is going to be Strength Topo. And I say it's not a tier list, and then I say number 1. But the first I mention is going to be Strength Topo. And I'll tell you why. even before his Extreme Z Awakening, you can grab him as a good support for low-level characters because he's raising allies' attack by 25% when he super attacks, and then he's giving all allies attack and defense 35%, and he's negating the enemy's defense by 50%, which is the equivalent of greatly lowering defense on the super attack animation. But if you're able to Extreme Z Awaken him, he's one of the best supports in the game. He's now raising allies' attack by 30% when he supers, and that's all allies. Doesn't have to be super, doesn't have to be extreme, all allies. He's giving himself 70% attack and defense. All allies now receive 1 key and 40% attack and defense. All enemies now get their defense reduced by 70%, which is almost a massively lowering defense mechanic, which is 80%. And if you drop below 70% HP, he reduces damage by 40%. So he really, really, really is solid in a ton of different categories, whether it's Universal Survival Saga, Realm of God, Universe 11 if you want to use that, Space Traveling Warriors, all that stuff. He's really solid on all those teams. So I'm actually a huge fan of that strength topo, and I think he's probably one of your first options in terms of choosing a unit that's going to be really, really solid, whether it's in his non-EZA state or his Extreme Z Awakened state. Next up, we're going to scroll up just a bit here, and we're going to go Physical Kid Buu. Now, Physical Kid Buu is more for people that, again, are have like a lower rank. If you are a lower rank and you're trying to clear out less difficult content, this guy is good even in his non-EZA state. Attack and defense 30% for all allies when HP is 80% or above. It's okay, right? Because you're going to be clearing easy content. You're not going to be lowering your health too much. You'll be fine. Now, when he does get his Extreme Z Awakening, let's just go over here. All allies 2 key and attack and defense 50% when HP is 80% or above. All allies 30% attack and defense when HP is 79% or above. So you still keep a nice attack and defense bonus, even when you drop below 80% HP. And he's lowering defense. Now, this isn't going to be like, again, this isn't a tier list, so I don't think he's the second best option. I do think Strength Topo is the best option, but I don't think Kid Buu is the second best option. I just think that for newer players, he's someone that you can definitely use. And since his Extreme Z Awakening came out in October of 2018, it's not going to be as difficult as some of the later EZAs that came out. So that's my line of thinking there. What else do we have? Well, we also have Intelligence Janemba, who again is going to be one of your top choices for the Red God Dragonstone. Now, this guy is not good before his Extreme Z Awakening. When he gets his EZA, he's one of the best defensive units in the game because he's at 70% attack and defense. He guards all attacks. If he gets hit first, which activates his guard, he then has a 30% chance of dodge, and for that one turn, he'll gain. So if essentially you put him in the first spot, he gets hit once, his guard activates, right? Then he's got a 30% chance to dodge any other hits that come in. Then he gains a 40% attack boost for 4 turns. And the way that that works is a little different. It's calculated separately. So he's actually going to be sitting at 138% attack, which is pretty insane because he's going to be hitting very, very hard and he's going to have great defense and he's got a god tier link set. So in terms of EZA options, this guy is really top tier, really, really top tier. Another unit that's actually top tier, but on specific events is this Vegeta. Now, this Vegeta, you can get away with bringing him on SBR as is without an EZA because 80% damage reduction for 7 turns. And honestly, you should be beating most of these SBRs before 7 turns. And on top of that, he's got a 50% chance to stun, which is great. But when you EZA him, he's even better. It's 80% damage reduction for 10 turns, so he gains a few extra turns. And if you do stun that enemy, he gains an 120% attack buff. So he gets powerful, right? He gets stronger when he's able to get that stun off. So this dude's definitely great for Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road even, because you're just putting him as the tank, right? He's going to be the tank of your party. You're going to have a healer, you're going to have a DPS, it's like you're playing WoW again. But no, he's going to be the guy that focuses all the attention. You're going to put him in the spot where you think you're going to get hit the most, and he's going to take no damage, and then you're going to keep proceeding. So he's a really good option as well. I'm honestly going to put Strength Goten as a choice too, because a lot of people kind of sleep on this little kid, but he does some good things. And I do believe he's the best out of the three. The Gohan and the Goku. So he's going to raise his defense by 30% for 3 turns. So he's going to gain a little something off his super attack. He's also giving himself 100% or 70% attack and defense. And he's an orb changer, which is always useful. So he's going to change physical orbs to rainbow orbs. And so you can pair him alongside of other units that do need rainbow orbs, and he's going to be able to fulfill that requirement. So in my opinion, he's definitely useful, especially with his Extreme Z Awakening. If we keep scrolling down, AGL Super Saiyan 2 Vegito. This guy on long events is honestly top tier when he's Extreme Z Awakened, because he gets so damn tanky. Supreme damage on his super attack, raises attack and defense by 30%, but for 6 turns, so it's a mini stacking. And he's at 90% attack and defense, but he gains 15% defense every time he gets hit, and it stacks up to 60%. An additional 60%. So look at these calculations here. His additional defense boost from his passive skills calculated separately, as is the boost from his super attack. As a result, his maximum defense boost from his passive skills is 204%, which he will get if you get hit enough times. And it can reach 477%, really 478% when including super attacks. With an additional super attack every single turn, which is theoretically possible, he can reach a maximum of 751% defense. Now you see why I say this guy is a tanking god. He's actually insane on long events. So definitely somebody worth picking up with your Red God Dragonstone. And then if we scroll down just a bit, Physical Kale is definitely an option. And Physical Kale is an option for Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road when you get the Extreme Z Awakening, and I'll tell you why. Because like I said, most SBRs you're going to be done within 7 turns. So she starts off with 160% attack. She launches a guaranteed and additional attack, which has a 70% chance of being a super attack. So she's got a 70% chance to launch 2 super attacks every turn. And she's got 60% damage reduction for 6 turns. So that makes it so she's going to be fairly tanky in Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road. She's going to hit like a truck and hit often, right? She's also greatly lowering defense, so she's negating 50% of the enemy's defense. And she's going to do that for 6 turns. Now, after 6 turns, she's a huge liability because she's only going to gain that damage reduction if she grabs 6 physical orbs or more, which is going to be almost impossible. But hopefully by that time, you've already beaten the SBR, Extreme SBR, and honestly, you should have by that point. That's not really a game mode where you want to last for 10 turns, okay? Ajo Khalifa is also a great choice, even without the Extreme Z Awakening, but particularly with the Extreme Z Awakening, she's really solid. She raises her defense by 60% on the super attack for 3 turns. So that's a really high defensive output. She gives herself 120% attack and 60% defense off rip. She's got a 50% chance of dodge, a 30% chance to dodge and then counter a super attack. And if she's next to a Kale, could be that physical Kale, could be base form Kale, whoever, or it could be LR Kale and Khalifa, attacks are effective against all types. That's wild. So she is absolutely spectacular choice. And again, if you're missing some of these units, then these are, the ones that I mentioned so far are probably your best options to pick up. And then you have some others that you definitely can pick up and can definitely be useful. So if I scroll down just a little bit, I want to go over to this Super Saiyan Goku, because he actually does a lot when he's Easy 8. 2 key, 80% attack and defense, 50% chance to crit when you're above half HP. 3 key, 100% attack and defense, 70% chance to crit when you're under 50% HP. But what really gets me on this guy is that he's got a 70% chance to stun on his super. So again, bringing him into content that can be stunned, this guy's definitely a good option because he will be doing decent damage with that high crit chance. And you just want to pump additionals into this dude. So he's just doing a ridiculous amount of stuns, a ridiculous amount of crits, right? That makes a lot of sense. You can also theoretically get this metal cooler. Now, he's kind of fallen off just a little bit with his EZA. It was good back in 2019, but now we're in 2021. It's still useful. He's giving himself 50% attack and defense, which isn't a lot, but he is giving all allies 30% attack, and then extreme allies get 3 key and a 40% defensive buff. And he's massively lowering defense on the enemy, so that's an 80% reduction. So that's not bad, right? That's not bad at all. If you have everybody else and you're still missing Metal Cooler, that could be an option. Hell, even this Evil Boo can be an option when you Extreme Z Awaken him, because he does a decent amount. So he's raising attack for 6 turns, whatever, 90% attack and defense, and then he negates 20% attack and defense from the enemy. He also launches an additional super attack with a 50% chance to dodge if he's facing Majin Buu Saga enemy. But you're really there for that debuff on the attack. Minus 20% attack and defense is pretty solid. And his damage isn't going to be terrible. Besides that, I'd say probably the only other characters that I'm kind of looking at would be this Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and this physical Super Saiyan Trunks. And especially early on, these guys are very, very easy to Extreme Z Awaken. Their events aren't particularly hard, and they're solid on a lot of teams. So Trunks is going to raise allies' attack by 30% when he supers, gives himself 2 key, but also gives everyone 2 key, and he's giving 30% attack and defense to all allies. So that's really solid. Now, if he's on a Vegeta's family team with at least 2 characters, he's giving himself 70% attack and defense. So you're always going to really run him next to other Trunks and other Vegetas and stuff like that. So he's probably always going to get that buff. 70% attack and defense, 2 key, and 30% attack and defense to all allies. Plus, they gain an additional 30% attack buff when he supers. That's pretty solid. And then Vegeta's kind of the opposite, right? So when he gets EZA'd, he does the same thing on his super, but he gives himself 2 key and 90% attack and defense. And then if he's got those 2 Vegeta family units, he's giving everybody 30% attack and defense. So it's kind of flipped on its head. He doesn't give the key, but he still gives that 30% attack and defense, which is really, really good. And he's still giving that 30% attack boost on his super attack, which is really, really good. So in terms of that, I would say those are probably the best options to go with for your Red Dragonstone 13. But let me know if you guys think I missed somebody. If you have a suggestion, leave it in the comments down below. While you're down there, I mean, listen, you got no other choice. You might as well follow the channel. You can do that by clicking the blue join button, become a Boomer champion like Joe V, or just do it the free-to-play way. Gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.